The morning sunlight streamed through the tall windows of Corner Coffee Cafe, casting warm golden patterns across the worn wooden tables. Rachel Thompson, 26 with her blonde hair pulled back in a neat bun, moved gracefully between the tables in her cream-colored uniform and brown apron. She had been working at this cozy neighborhood cafe for 3 years, and she knew every regular customer by name and coffee preference. It was a Tuesday morning, quieter than usual, when the bell above the door chimed and a man entered with a little girl in tow. Rachel glanced up from wiping down a table and immediately noticed something was different about this pair. The man, tall and distinguished in his early 40s with dark hair and a well-tailored navy suit, looked completely overwhelmed. His daughter, perhaps 6 years old with light brown hair in pigtails and wearing a soft pink sweater, seemed much more composed than her father. Rachel watched as the man stood near the entrance, scanning the cafe with obvious uncertainty. His expensive suit and confident bearing suggested he was accustomed to being in control, but his expression told a different story entirely. He looked like a man who had just been handed a puzzle with half the pieces missing. "Daddy," the little girl said in a gentle voice that carried across the quiet cafe, "maybe we should sit down first." The man looked down at his daughter with a mixture of love and panic. "You are right, sweetheart. Let me find us a good table." Rachel could not help but smile at the interaction. She had seen many fathers bring their children to the cafe, but something about this pair tugged at her heart. The little girl's patience with her clearly struggling father was both touching and unusual for someone so young. After watching them settle at a table near the window, with the man still looking lost as he stared at the menu, Rachel approached with her warmest smile. "Good morning. Welcome to Corner Coffee. My name is Rachel, and I will be taking care of you today." The man looked up with visible relief. "Thank you. I am James, and this is my daughter Emma." He gestured to the little girl, who beamed up at Rachel with bright, intelligent eyes. "Hi Emma," Rachel said, crouching down to the child's level. "That is a beautiful sweater you are wearing. Pink is one of my favorite colors." Emma giggled. "Thank you. Daddy bought it for me, but I had to help him pick it out because he said all the clothes looked the same to him." James ran a hand through his hair, a gesture that spoke of barely contained stress. "I am afraid Emma is being kind. The truth is, I am completely out of my element here. We just moved to the neighborhood, and I promised Emma we would have breakfast together before her first day at the new school, but I have no idea what children typically eat for breakfast." Rachel felt her heart go out to this obviously devoted but overwhelmed father. She had seen single parents struggle before, but there was something particularly endearing about this successful-looking man who was so clearly trying his best for his daughter. "Well," Rachel said, settling into the chair across from Emma, "I think I can help with that. Emma, what do you like to eat for breakfast at home?" Emma tilted her head thoughtfully. "Usually cereal, but Daddy said we could have something special since it is my first day at Lincoln Elementary. I like pancakes, but only if they are not too big. And I like orange juice, but not the kind with pulp because it feels funny in my mouth." Rachel nodded seriously, as if Emma had just provided crucial information. "No pulp orange juice is very important. I completely understand. And I think our small pancakes would be perfect for you. We make them just the right size, and our cook, Mrs. Patterson, makes the fluffiest pancakes in the whole neighborhood." "That sounds wonderful," James said, and Rachel could hear the gratitude in his voice. "And for me, just coffee would be fine. I am not much of a breakfast person." Rachel studied James for a moment. Despite his expensive suit and confident demeanor, she could see the exhaustion around his eyes, the slight tremor in his hands that suggested he was running on stress and caffeine rather than proper nutrition. "You know what," Rachel said gently, "Mrs. Patterson also makes an incredible breakfast sandwich. Fresh eggs, cheese, and turkey bacon on a toasted English muffin. It is not too heavy, but it will give you energy for the day. And trust me, you are going to need energy if you are dealing with a first day at a new school." James looked surprised by her perceptiveness. "How did you know today would be challenging?" "Experience," Rachel said with a knowing smile. "I have seen a lot of single parents come through here over the years. The first day at a new school is always tough on everyone, especially when you are trying to figure out new routines." Emma looked up at her father with concern. "Is that why you have been looking at your phone so much this morning, Daddy?" Because you are worried about my new school. James reached over and smoothed his daughter's hair. I suppose I have been a little anxious, sweetheart. I want everything to be perfect for you. Rachel watched this tender interaction and made a decision. Tell you what, while Mrs. Patterson is making your breakfast, why do not I show Emma our special kids' corner? We have some coloring books and crayons, and there is a little table that is just the right height for children. Emma's eyes lit up. Can I, Daddy? James nodded, and Rachel led Emma to a cozy corner of the cafe where a small table was set up with art supplies and children's books. As Emma settled in with a coloring book, Rachel returned to James. She is a remarkable little girl, Rachel said, refilling his coffee cup. You are doing something very right. James looked surprised by the compliment. Most days I feel like I am just barely keeping my head above water. Her mother passed away 2 years ago, and I have been trying to figure out how to be both parents ever since. Some days are better than others. Rachel felt a wave of sympathy wash over her. I am so sorry for your loss. Raising a child alone cannot be easy, especially when you are clearly dedicated to doing it well. Thank you, James said quietly. We just moved here from Chicago. I thought a smaller town might be better for Emma, give her a chance to grow up somewhere with more community, more stability. But starting over is harder than I expected. What brought you to our little town? Rachel asked, genuinely curious. James hesitated for a moment. I run a small company, and we decided to relocate here. The cost of living is better, and the schools have an excellent reputation. I wanted Emma to have the best possible education and a place where she could really belong. Rachel nodded approvingly. Lincoln Elementary is wonderful. My younger sister went there, and she always said the teachers really cared about each student. Emma will do beautifully there. When Mrs. Patterson called out that their order was ready, Rachel went to collect it. She returned with a perfectly sized stack of pancakes for Emma, complete with a small pitcher of syrup and fresh strawberries arranged in a smiley face, and a breakfast sandwich for James that looked and smelled absolutely delicious. This looks amazing, James said, and Rachel could see his surprise at the thoughtfulness of the presentation. Emma clapped her hands when she saw her pancakes. Look, Daddy, the strawberries are smiling at me. Mrs. Patterson always does that for the children, Rachel explained. She says breakfast should make you happy. As they ate, Rachel checked on them periodically, refilling coffee and making sure Emma had everything she needed. She found herself genuinely enjoying their company. Emma was bright and engaging, asking thoughtful questions about the cafe and the neighborhood. James, once he began to relax, revealed himself to be intelligent and surprisingly funny, with a dry sense of humor that made Rachel laugh. Rachel, Emma said as she finished her last bite of pancakes, do you think the other children at my new school will be nice? Rachel sat down beside her again. I think they will love you, Emma. You are kind and smart and funny. Those are the qualities that make the best friends. But what if they think I am different because I do not have a mommy? Emma asked, her voice small. Rachel felt her heart clench at the vulnerability in the child's voice. She glanced at James, who had gone very still, clearly struggling with how to respond to his daughter's fear. Emma, Rachel said gently, families come in all different shapes and sizes. Some children have a mommy and a daddy, some have just a mommy or just a daddy. Some live with grandparents or aunts and uncles. What makes a family special is not who is in it, but how much love there is. And anyone can see that you and your daddy have more love than most families could ever hope for. Emma smiled up at her. You are very wise, Rachel. I think you would make a good teacher. Thank you, sweetheart. That might be the nicest compliment anyone has ever given me. As they prepared to leave for Emma's first day of school, James reached for his wallet. When he pulled out several bills, Rachel caught a glimpse of what appeared to be a very expensive watch and business cards that read Whitfield Industries, James Whitfield, CEO. Rachel's eyes widened slightly as she recognized the name. Whitfield Industries was the new tech company that had just relocated to their town, bringing hundreds of jobs and significant investment to the community. The local newspaper had run several articles about the company and its young CEO, though Rachel had never seen a photo of James Whitfield himself. James noticed her recognition and looked slightly uncomfortable. I hope that does not change anything. I meant what I said about feeling overwhelmed and out of my element. Money does not make parenting any easier. Rachel shook her head immediately. It does not change anything at all. You are still just a father who loves his daughter and wants the best for her. That is what matters. Emma had been gathering her small backpack and did not notice the exchange between the adults. When she was ready, she turned to Rachel with a serious expression. Rachel, will you be here tomorrow morning? I would like to tell you about my first day at school. Rachel's heart melted completely. I will be here, Emma. I work every Tuesday through Saturday morning. I would love to hear all about your new school. Emma threw her arms around Rachel in a spontaneous hug. Thank you for making my daddy smile. He has not smiled very much since we moved here. James looked embarrassed but grateful. Emma is right. This morning has been exactly what we both needed. Thank you for your kindness, Rachel. It means more than you know. As they prepared to leave, James handed Rachel a generous tip along with his business card. If you ever need anything, please do not hesitate to call. And I meant what Emma said about tomorrow. We would both like to make this a regular tradition, if that is all right with you. I would love that, Rachel said sincerely. After they left, Rachel found herself thinking about the unexpected encounter throughout the rest of her shift. She had helped many customers over the years, but something about James and Emma felt different. Perhaps it was the genuine connection she had felt with both of them, or the way they had seemed to need exactly the kind of warmth and stability that she was able to provide. The next morning, Rachel found herself looking forward to their arrival with an anticipation that surprised her. When the bell chimed and she saw Emma burst through the door with a huge smile, followed by a much more relaxed-looking James, Rachel felt a warmth spread through her chest. Rachel! Emma called out, running to her. I had the most wonderful first day. I made 3 new friends, and my teacher, Mrs. Garcia, said I was very good at reading. And nobody cared at all that I only have a daddy. James followed more slowly, but his smile was genuine and reached his eyes this time. Good morning, Rachel. I think you were exactly right about Lincoln Elementary, and about Emma making friends easily. As Rachel led them to the same table by the window, she realized that sometimes the most meaningful connections come from the simplest acts of kindness. She had thought she was just helping a lost father and his daughter navigate their first morning in a new town. She had not realized that they would end up helping her discover something she had not even known she was missing: the joy of being part of a family's daily rituals, of watching a child grow and flourish, of seeing a good man learn to trust in the kindness of strangers. 3 months later, James would offer Rachel a position managing the employee cafe at Whitfield Industries, recognizing her natural gift for creating warmth and community. But by then, their relationship had evolved far beyond professional courtesy. Rachel had become Emma's unofficial second mother and James's closest friend, proving that sometimes the most important gifts we receive are the ones we give away first.